Two dragons, two worlds, one inspired by the other. I want to compare Ash and Saphira. If you're watching this, you have probably read at least Eragon and are pretty familiar with the dragon Saphira. This book has been out for around 20 years. It's a lot of people's first epic fantasy, whereas Ascendant has been out for closer to only 5 years, but is gaining popularity in its own right for its series. Ascendant by Michael R. Miller is inspired by Eragon and is often advertised as for fans of Eragon, if you like this, you'll probably like this. They both start with a boy who gets a dragon egg, becomes a writer, leaves home, goes on a quest. And as I talk about and compare these two dragons, I'm going to do this based off of only the first books in the series. Partly because the Songs of Chaos series is not finished yet. There's currently 3 out with 2 more on the way. And partly just to give fewer series spoilers. If you've read Eragon at this point, you've probably read the series. And then if you've never even heard of the series yet, or heard of it but not started it, I don't want to spoil the whole thing. So, starting with the world in which these dragons exist. Saphira is born into a world where there are no more free dragons. They have been hunted down, and the only eggs that were left have been kept captive by the evil king. And the only dragon left that they know of is Shrukin, who is old and evil. So Saphira lives in a world where she is pretty much alone as far as dragons are concerned. She is the last free dragon, and she is in constant danger of being captured, enslaved, controlled, because of her very essence, what she is, her power. Everyone is going to want to control her, even the good guys. Saphira and her human rider, Eragon, are part of the Empire's last hope to fight the enemy and to gain their own freedom. So from the start of her life, there is a lot of pressure on her, but she's at least born into a world where all dragons are appreciated and revered. And there was nothing wrong with her egg to start. And the Order of Dragon Riders has pretty much been abolished at this point. A dragon hatching and bonding a partner, human or elf or whatever, should have lived a very specific type of life. There should have been other dragons around her, teaching her, training her, teaching her how to bond with her human, how to fight, how to just be a dragon, and there's none of that. She's very alone. Ash, on the other hand, is born into a world where dragons are, I don't know if I'd say very common, but they are alive and thriving. The Dragon Rider Order is well established and currently active. The world that Ash is born into is kind of like the world you hear about in this one, back when there were plenty of dragon rider pairs out there just taking care of the world. That's what we have here. Now, his world in this story is threatened by the Scourge / the Blight. The Blight is kind of like leprosy, a sickness that you can get, and then the Scourge are the creatures, I hope I'm saying this all accurately, that are either infected with the Blight or turned some other way. I think it's the Blight that turns them into what are basically zombies. So there are Scourge creatures created by whatever creates Scourge. So there are creatures that were never alive as other creatures, but live creatures can be infected with the Blight, or if they die, can be brought back as these zombie-like Scourge creatures, and that is what the Dragon Rider Order is defending the world against. It's what they are sworn to fight. They are the last shield between the Scourge and life. But dragons in this world, and even humans I guess, value strength. Only strong dragons get to survive, and Ash's egg was defective. Also, when a dragon hatches, only nobles or people of high birth even have the chance of bonding to a dragon. Never servants. So in those worlds that they each come from, Saphira, her egg was guarded as a treasure beyond value. She was kept and protected from being captured by someone else, but protected because Galbatorix wanted her. Then some daring people executed a desperate rescue attempt, saving her egg, and now she is kept and protected by the Varden and the elves. But nowhere in all of this Is it ever even considered to see whether her egg is defective or not? She's a dragon. That's what matters. That means she is special and wanted, and everyone wants her. And then, in another capture attempt, she is sent far away, hopefully to safety, where she is found by a young farm boy. And that is the person she decides to hatch for. Speaking of which, I have a video on why I think Saphira hatched for the right person, why she chose wisely. I will link that video in the description. But anyway, she hatches for the right person. But once hatched, she has to live as a fugitive. She has to hide away, she can't reveal herself, and she is not able to live the life meant for dragons and riders. As soon as she hatches, she's not living the life that she was meant to live. But she and her rider, who technically I guess is not her rider yet because she's never had him on her back yet, they share a deep bond of love from the very beginning. Ash is much more tragic. From the beginning, almost the opposite of Saphira's journey. His egg was set aside to be destroyed. His life was not treasured, not valued. If his defective egg hatched and he was weaker than the other dragons, he's going to bring down the order of dragons and make them all weaker. So his egg is not being fought over. No one is trying to rescue him or get them for themselves. They are going to throw him into the river and let his egg drown. And that would be the end of that. No story. But his egg is rescued by a young pot boy. The son of the head cook, he's taking food up to the dragon riders, sees the egg set aside and cannot handle seeing it destroyed. So in his mind, he's rescuing it. Everyone else views it as stealing. And servants aren't supposed to be able to bond to dragons, so he's also a role breaker. Everyone gets a very specific role in their life. Their last name is their role. So Holt's surname is Cook. Holt Cook. And his surname never changes. I think it might be cool if by the end he gets a new last name to describe his new role. But anyway, he's done something he's not supposed to do, and now a dragon that was never supposed to hatch has the chance to hatch. And this time, when this dragon hatches, he also has to hide away. But unlike Saphira, hiding from an evil king, Ash has to hide from his own people. He has to hide from the other dragons, from everyone else who might try to separate him from his boy, and he is born blind, something that the other dragons would never accept in another dragon. So, also like Saphira, he's not going to get the chance of what a dragon and rider pair should get. He's not going to be allowed to live that life. So whereas Saphira won't get that chance because there aren't any other dragon riders, Shrukin and Galbatorix don't count here. There's plenty of other dragons and riders who could teach him everything he needs to know, but won't. So even though he is lonely for other dragons, like Saphira, he shares a deep bond of love for his human, and also has to depend on his human more than a seeing dragon would have to. Both dragons paired with humans. Ash, because there is no other choice. In this world, there's humans and dragons and Scourge. At least as far as they know, I have not seen a single elf or dwarf. I'm pretty sure they don't exist in this world at all. If they do, we haven't met them yet. In this one, everyone thinks Eragon is the poorer choice when Saphira had so many chances to hatch for and bond with an already powerful elf. Why would she choose this little young human? Well, again, let me reference the video where I address that, linked in the description. So let's talk about their magic next. Because in a fantasy story, dragons are often magical. Not always. See Temeraire. Saphira, like other dragons in history, is a part of the land itself. In the first book, she hasn't really discovered her magic much yet, but dragons don't use the ancient language. They don't have to. They're just kind of naturally magical beings. They don't cast specific spells. They just are magical, and so whatever they can do is just an outpouring of their power and their nature. And they don't always know what they can do until they need to do it. It's very instinctual. And Saphira's magic is like a slow growth, along with her physical growth, how she matures, and the knowledge that she gains. In this story, dragons have specific types. What color they are often denotes what type they are. They will have affinity for their element, and then their magical abilities align with their type. The types being life, fire, mystic, storm, and ice. I thought I was gonna have to look up my notes to remember. Ash's type is unknown. When the dragons are first hatched, like in this one, they don't just do magic immediately. He's a weird color, so they can't tell just by looking at him. So it is unsure what his type will be, which means it's unsure what kind of magic he will have. And he is very unsure if his physical disability will affect his magical ability. Also having to do with the magic, one thing that Michael Miller wanted to do different from a lot of animal-human bond type of fantasy stories, he wanted the bond between a powerful magical creature and a plain old mundane human to not just benefit the human, but also benefit the dragon. So the magic is a lot more reciprocal. The human rider gains magical ability, but they can also help increase the efficiency and strength of the dragon's magic through a process called cleansing and forging. So the types of dragons can pull in motes of their element. So like a fire dragon can pull in the little magical motes from a fire. They pull those motes into their magical draconic core, and their rider can cleanse that core and then forge more motes in. So they like make the magic more pure, more powerful. They both get benefit out of the partnership. And then the magic is very level up. The dragon and rider reach a new level of bonding and understanding with each other. They've fought together, they've grown together. They have a level up experience. And then usually with that level up come new magical abilities for both the dragon and the human. Whereas this one's a lot more just, you want to get stronger? Work out. And also learn more of the ancient language. Increase your knowledge, your physical strength, you'll increase your magical strength. Both dragons are living with their own individual sadness. Saphira being the last free dragon and Ash being the outcast. One thing that they both have in common is that they both love their human deeply. They would do anything necessary for their bonded partner. And they both desire to fight evil. Both fierce, majestic, worthy of honor. So I guess the last category for this video is who would win in a fight? Saphira. Sorry, Ash. If you've read Eragon, I strongly recommend you check out Ascendant and the rest of the books in the Songs of Chaos by Michael R. Miller. I will link both books in the video description, as well as my Patreon and my Instagram. Thank you, patrons. I appreciate you guys a lot. Happy reading. Bye.